Hello and welcome to Midnight Murmurs. Today, we're diving into the magical world of Arcanum Academy and following the adventures of Isla and her friends in the first book of the series. In this chapter, we're exploring the return of a dangerous threat that Isla and her friends thought they had defeated, and the intense battle that ensues to protect the magical world. If you love stories filled with magic, friendship, and adventure, then you've come to the right place. This is just the tip of the iceberg in this 7-book series that will take you on a journey through a world filled with danger and wonder. So, grab your wands and hold on tight, because things are about to get wild. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our Midnight Murmurs content. Let's jump into the first book and discover the magical world of Arcanum Academy together. Book 1: The Secret of the Enchanted Forest. Chapter 10: The Threat Returns. The wind howled through the trees as Isla and her friends huddled together, their wands at the ready. They had thought they had defeated the danger that threatened the magical world, but now they knew they were wrong. The ancient text they had uncovered spoke of a powerful and dangerous force that had been dormant for centuries, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And that moment was now. Isla and her friends knew they had to act fast. They had to stop the dark wizards from performing the ritual that would unleash the force upon the magical world. The fate of their world hung in the balance, and they were the only ones who could save it. But this time, the danger they faced was far greater than anything they had encountered before. The dark wizards were stronger and more determined than ever, and Isla and her friends knew that they would need to use all their skills and talents to stand a chance of defeating them. As they prepared for battle, Isla reflected on her journey since arriving at Arcanum Academy. She had faced challenges and doubts, but with the support of her friends, she had grown in confidence and strength. Now, she was ready to face whatever came her way. The threat had returned, and Isla and her friends were the only ones who could stop it. But would they be strong enough to face the darkness that lay ahead? Only time would tell. As the sun began to set over Arcanum Academy, Isla and her friends were gathered in the common room, studying for their upcoming exams. Suddenly, the room began to shake and a loud, ominous rumble filled the air. "What's happening?" Arya exclaimed, fear in her voice. Max rushed to the window and looked outside. "There's something coming out of the forest," he said, his voice tense. Isla joined him at the window and gasped. In the distance, she could see a dark, swirling mass of energy moving towards the academy with frightening speed. "That's not natural," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. Suddenly, the doors to the common room burst open, and the headmaster, Professor Darrow, rushed in. "Everyone, get to the Great Hall immediately," he barked. "We have a situation on our hands." The students scrambled to gather their books and wands, following Professor Darrow to the Great Hall. As they ran, Isla could feel the tension in the air, and she knew that something was very wrong. When they arrived at the Great Hall, they found the other students gathered in groups, talking in hushed tones. Isla and her friends quickly made their way to the front of the room where Professor Darrow was standing. "I have some disturbing news," he said, his voice grave. "The danger we thought we had defeated has returned." The room erupted into murmurs of disbelief and fear. Isla felt a knot forming in her stomach as she listened to Professor Darrow's words. The dark wizards who were performing the ritual that we stopped in the forest last year were not acting alone, Professor Darrow continued. We have reason to believe that there are others who are working with them, and they are planning to unleash a powerful magical force that has been dormant for centuries. Isla and her friends exchanged worried glances, realizing the gravity of the situation. We have to stop them, Max said, determination in his voice. I agree, Isla said, nodding. We can't let them unleash that kind of power on the magical world. Professor Darrow looked at them with a mixture of pride and concern. I knew I could count on you, he said. But this will not be an easy task. You will need to work together, use all of your skills and knowledge, and be prepared to face some of the darkest magic that exists. Isla and her friends nodded, their resolve firm. They knew that they were the only ones who could stop this threat and protect the magical world from the darkness that was once again looming on the horizon. The room fell silent as they prepared for the battle that lay ahead. The fate of the magical world hung in the balance, and Isla and her friends knew that they were facing their greatest challenge yet. Isla and her friends marched deep into the forest, their wands at the ready. They had to stop the dark wizards from completing the ritual that would unleash the dangerous magical force upon the world. The tension in the air was thick as they approached the secluded area where the dark wizards were performing their ritual. As they got closer, Isla noticed a dark cloud hovering over the clearing. She knew that this was a bad sign and that they were running out of time. She turned to her friends, who nodded in agreement, ready for battle. Isla raised her wand and shouted, Expelliarmus. A red beam shot from the tip of her wand, striking the first dark wizard and disarming him. The rest of her friends followed suit, unleashing a barrage of spells at the remaining dark wizards. The battle was fierce, and the air was filled with the sound of spells being cast and the screams of the dark wizards. Isla and her friends fought bravely, using their combined strength to defeat the dark wizards. But the battle was not over yet. The final dark wizard, the one leading the ritual, stood at the center of the clearing, his wand pointed towards the sky. The dark cloud above him had grown larger, and Isla knew that the force was about to be unleashed. She took a deep breath, focusing her energy on the task at hand. She raised her wand, and with all her might, shouted, Stupefy. A bright white light shot from her wand, striking the dark wizard in the chest and knocking him to the ground. The dark cloud above them dissipated, and the danger had passed. Isla and her friends breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that they had saved the magical world once again. As they walked back to Arcanum Academy, Isla felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She knew that she had grown as a witch and had become stronger thanks to the support of her friends. They had faced their greatest challenge yet and emerged victorious. The final battle had taught them that together they were stronger than any dark wizard or dangerous force. They knew that they would always be there for each other, ready to face any challenge that came their way. And so, Isla and her friends returned to Arcanum Academy, ready to continue their studies and defend the magical world from any threats that may arise. They knew that they had a responsibility to protect the world they loved, and they were determined to fulfill that responsibility with all their hearts. As Isla and her friends face the threat that has returned, they know that they must move forward with caution and precision. They spend days strategizing and preparing for the battle that lies ahead, each utilizing their unique skills and abilities to strengthen their plan. Isla takes charge of researching the ancient texts they found, poring over every page to gain any insight that could be useful in their fight. Max works tirelessly to improve their defensive spells, while Arya focuses on creating new offensive spells that could help turn the tide of the battle in their favor. Lily spends hours practicing her wand movements and perfecting her aim, while Oliver works on fortifying their defenses and creating traps to catch the enemy off guard. As they work, Isla can't help but feel a sense of pride in her friends. Despite the danger they face, they are all so focused and determined to protect the magical world. She knows that they couldn't do it without each other. The day of the battle arrives, and Isla and her friends make their way deep into the forest. As they approach the location of the ritual, they hear the chanting of the dark wizards and feel a shiver run down their spines. They begin their attack, casting spells left and right as they engage in a fierce battle. Isla feels a surge of adrenaline as she duels against one of the dark wizards, her wand movements precise and calculated. She can see her friends fighting alongside her, each one holding their own against their opponents. The battle seems to last forever, but finally, they emerge victorious. The dark wizards are defeated, and the threat to the magical world is eliminated once again. As they make their way back to Arcanum Academy, Isla can't help but feel a sense of relief wash over her. The danger may not be over, but they have proven that they are capable of facing whatever challenges come their way. Looking around at her friends, Isla realizes that they have all grown so much since they first met. They are no longer the scared and uncertain students they once were, but strong and capable witches and wizards who have learned to rely on each other for support and strength. As they arrive back at the academy, Isla knows that they have much to celebrate. They have saved the magical world once again, and they have each other to lean on as they face whatever challenges lie ahead. Together, they move forward, stronger and more determined than ever before. As Isla and her friends faced the returning threat to the magical world, the stakes were higher than ever before. They had already proven their bravery and strength in battle against dark wizards, but this new challenge tested them in ways they never thought possible. Isla was scared, but she knew that she couldn't let fear consume her. She had to rely on her friends and trust in their abilities to work together and overcome the threat once again. The battle was intense, and it seemed as though the outcome could go either way. But with their determination and the power of their friendship, Isla and her friends emerged victorious once again. The magical world was safe, and they had proven themselves as true protectors of the magical realm. As they celebrated their victory, Isla and her friends reflected on the journey that had led them to this moment. They had faced challenges and setbacks, but they had always come out stronger on the other side. They had learned to trust each other and themselves, and they had discovered their own unique strengths and talents. Looking to the future, Isla and her friends knew that there would always be threats to the magical world. But they also knew that they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. They had each other, and they had the knowledge and skills they had gained at Arcanum Academy. As Isla closed her eyes that night, she felt a sense of peace and contentment. She had found her place in the magical world, and she knew that her friends were there beside her every step of the way. She drifted off to sleep, ready to face whatever new adventures and challenges awaited her in the future. And that's a wrap for Chapter 10 of our thrilling magical adventure. We hope you enjoyed following along with Isla and her friends as they face their greatest challenge yet. But don't worry, the story is far from over. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the previous chapters in this exciting 7-book series, filled with magic, friendship, and adventure. And stay tuned for the next chapter, where Isla and her friends continue to explore the magical world and protect it from the dangers that lurk within. Thank you so much for joining us here at Midnight Murmurs. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest updates and releases in our series. We can't wait to continue this magical journey with you.